The trade station hung in orbit like a jewel above the green and blue planet below. Humans had called it Horizon Station, a place where species from across the galaxy could meet and trade peacefully. The walls hummed with energy, and the docking bays were alive with ships from countless worlds. Among them, the newest visitors were the Xerans, a species the humans had only observed from afar until now. They were tall and elegant, with shimmering skin that changed color with emotion, and long fingers that moved with a grace humans found almost hypnotic. Commander Sarah Hayes stood on the observation deck, her hands clasped behind her back, eyes scanning the Xeran ship as it approached. She had read every report on their culture, but nothing could truly prepare her for meeting them face to face. Reports mentioned rituals, sacred gestures, and complex greetings, but the specifics were vague. Sarah had learned one rule clearly. Do not touch their heads. Do we have clearance to dock? She asked, turning to her aide, Lieutenant Mark Rivers. Yes, Commander. They're hailing us now, Mark replied, pressing a button to open the communications channel. A soft, melodic voice filled the room. Humans of Horizon Station. We come in peace, seeking exchange and understanding. Sarah nodded, smiling. Welcome to Horizon Station, Xerans. We are honored to host you. The Xeran's ship landed gracefully, and a gangway extended. The first Xeran ambassador stepped out. Its skin shimmered a deep violet, and its eyes, large and luminous, scanned the humans. It raised its hand, and Sarah instinctively raised hers in return. She noticed the ambassador's skin flickered a bright silver. I hope that's a good color, Sarah whispered to Mark. Mark shrugged. Could be. Could also mean we just insulted them. The ambassador approached slowly, its long fingers moving in intricate patterns. It stopped before Sarah. Then, without warning, it gently tapped its forehead against hers. Sarah froze. She remembered the warnings, but she also knew turning away abruptly could be rude. Mark gasped. Commander! The ambassador's skin flashed a violent red. Sarah stepped back carefully, unsure whether she had offended or been attacked. The Xeran's translator device crackled. You disrespectful humans, it said, the words sharp in tone. You violate sacred greeting. Sarah swallowed. I'm sorry. We didn't know. We come in peace. I want to. The Xeran ambassador's skin shifted from red to a soft blue. It seemed to calm. Slowly, it held out its hand. Not the usual forehead gesture, but a simple wave. Sarah waved back cautiously. Mark leaned close. Well, at least we didn't start an interstellar war today. Sarah gave him a tight smile. Inside the station, humans and Xerans were ushered to the meeting hall, a massive chamber designed for formal gatherings. The hall's walls were smooth and curved, reflecting light in a way that made humans feel slightly disoriented. Xerans seemed perfectly at home. They moved with elegance, floating almost above the floor. Humans, in contrast, appeared clumsy and loud. The first challenge began immediately. Xeran culture highly valued the exchange of symbolic items as part of conversation. A small wooden carving, a woven cloth, or a painted stone could communicate deep respect. Humans, unfamiliar with this custom, brought coffee mugs and pens as gifts. The Xerans stared in confusion. One ambassador's skin flickered bright orange, an emotion the translator labeled as bewildered. Sarah stepped forward. We hope these gifts show our friendship. We're not familiar with Xeran traditions yet. A young Xeran ambassador tilted its head. A gesture humans didn't understand, then spoke through the translator. These objects, trivial, yet effort, recognized, peace, possible, Mark muttered under his breath. Trivial? We gave them mugs, Sarah chuckled quietly. Better trivial than insulting. As the humans and Xerans tried to communicate, misunderstandings piled up. A Xeran tried to bow, and a human interpreter stepped forward, mimicking the bow awkwardly. The Ziran's skin turned dark, purple. The interpreter froze. Did I do it wrong?" The ambassador's voice translated, slow and careful. "Yes. But attempt. Appreciated. Humans. Curious. Unusual." Despite the confusion, Sarah noticed something. The Zirans, though frustrated at the humans' clumsiness, did not retreat. They continued interacting, observing carefully, and trying again. The humans mirrored the effort. There was a silent mutual respect forming, born from the willingness to try even when misunderstanding was constant. Lunch brought another challenge. Zirans had an elaborate dining ritual involving colored liquids and tiny, fragrant seeds. Humans, unaware of the rules, accidentally mixed the colors incorrectly, causing the Ziran's skin to flare red. Sarah jumped up, apologizing, while Mark tried to discreetly take notes on every gesture. One Ziran child, smaller and curious, approached Sarah. Its skin shimmered gold, a sign of curiosity. The child held out a seed, pointing at Sarah's hands. Tentatively, Sarah took it and mimicked the child's movements. The seed was placed gently in a container, and the child's skin turned soft green. "It worked," Sarah whispered. Mark's eyes widened. "You just solved interstellar etiquette with a single seed," Sarah smiled. "Maybe we're better at learning from children than adults." By the afternoon, a pattern emerged. Humans learned to watch skin color changes, gestures, and facial expressions carefully. Zirans began to relax around the humans, laughing softly at the mistakes they made. Slowly, the room filled with shared understanding. Commander Hayes called for a short break and stepped onto the observation deck. The view of the planet below was breathtaking. She thought about the fragile threads of diplomacy stretching across space, how easily misunderstanding could lead to disaster, but also how human determination could turn confusion into connection. "Think we're making progress?" Mark asked, leaning beside her. "I think so," Sarah said. "We've offended them half a dozen times, but they're still here. That counts for something." As the day ended, the humans prepared a small demonstration of human culture, a simple music performance using stringed instruments. The Zirans watched in fascination. Their skin shimmered in slow waves, colors shifting like a calm sea. When the humans finished, the Zirans hesitated, then raised their hands in a gesture Sarah interpreted as applause. For the first time, Sarah allowed herself to feel hopeful. Perhaps humans could thrive among the stars. Not just by strength or technology, but by curiosity, creativity, and the willingness to learn and adapt. That night, as Horizon Station glimmered against the void, the humans and Zirans were still far from perfect understanding. Yet they had taken the first step toward something far greater: trust. Sarah stood on the observation deck, watching the Ziran ship docked peacefully. She whispered to herself, "Tomorrow, we'll get a little closer to knowing them. And maybe they'll get a little closer to knowing us." Little did anyone know, the real challenges were yet to come. Tests of patience, courage, and creativity that would push both species to their limits. But for now, humanity had taken the first step in the great cosmic dance of friendship and understanding. And in that first step, Sarah felt a thrill that no interstellar danger or political tension could ever match. The thrill of discovery and the promise that humans could shine even in the vast, alien universe. The next morning, Horizon Station buzzed with a mix of excitement and tension. Humans had grown a little more confident after their first awkward interactions with the Zirans, but no one underestimated the challenges ahead. Today, the Ziran delegation was visiting Earth's diplomatic hub, a specially designed complex that mirrored elements of their home planet's architecture to make them feel comfortable. Commander Sarah Hayes and Lieutenant Mark Rivers prepared the human team for the first official exchange. The plan was simple: welcome the Zirans, show human hospitality, and exchange ideas for trade and technology. Simple, if one ignored the unpredictable nature of cultural misunderstandings. The Zirans arrived aboard their sleek, silver ship, which shimmered like liquid metal under Earth's sun. When the gangway extended, A wave of color rippled across their skins, gold, green, violet, flashing rapidly as they observed their surroundings. The humans smiled nervously, trying to return gestures, unaware that the Xerans were interpreting every movement as a message. Sarah stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome back. We're excited to host you on Earth." The Xeran ambassador, the one who had tapped foreheads with Sarah the previous day, approached. Its skin flickered a bright, angry red. Sarah froze. Mark whispered, that's not good." The ambassador's translator activated, its melodic voice clear. "Humans. Yesterday. Gestures. Inappropriate. Today. Must. Respect." Sarah swallowed. "We understand. We'll try to do better." The Xerans paused, and slowly, their colors softened to soft green. The human team breathed in relief. At least the greeting hadn't escalated into a diplomatic incident. As the group moved toward the main hall, the humans noticed something strange. Every small action, even the way they walked, seemed to catch the Xerans' attention. A human fidget, a cough, or a glance could cause skin colors to shift from calm blue to warning orange. The humans had never felt so self-conscious. Inside the hall, the humans had prepared a holographic welcome display. Images of Earth's landscapes, cities, and humans in motion floated in the air, designed to show friendliness. But the moment the display activated, the Xerans' skins flashed a violent purple, an emotion the translator labeled as aggression alarm. "What did we do wrong this time?" Mark whispered. Sarah examined the display. The holograms were too bright, too dynamic, too loud, compared to the calm, flowing visuals Xerans preferred. What humans intended as a joyful greeting appeared threatening to the aliens. One Xeran ambassador raised its long fingers, and the translator captured its words slowly. "Humans. Gestures. Colors. Alarm. Must. Cease." Sarah nodded. "Okay. Adjusting now." She signaled the human tech team, and the holograms dimmed. The animations slowed. The Xeran's skin slowly shifted to soft green. "The universal sign of calm," Mark muttered under his breath. "We almost got fried by a hologram." Sarah gave him a tight smile. Better to survive a little embarrassment than interstellar conflict. Once the holograms were tamed, the humans attempted a small conversation circle, each human and Xeran sharing an item of personal significance. Humans offered pens, photos, and trinkets. Xerans presented shimmering stones, fragrant plants, and woven threads that changed color when held. The first misunderstanding came immediately. A human diplomat reached to touch a Xeran gift without asking. The alien's skin flared red. "Touch. Sacred. Humans. Ignorance," it said through the translator. The diplomat froze. I'm sorry," Sarah intervened. "Step back. We need to learn their rules before handling their items. Remember yesterday's lesson." The humans soon discovered that every action could be interpreted as a sign of respect, disrespect, friendship, or threat. They learned to mirror Xeran gestures, careful to match posture, hand placement, and even the tilt of their heads. Slowly, the Xerans began to relax. The room filled with a tentative harmony. A delicate dance of mutual observation. Lunch brought more surprises. The Xerans' dining customs involved tiny glowing fruits that emitted scents designed to trigger emotions. Humans, unfamiliar with these aromas, accidentally inhaled too deeply, causing their faces to redden. Xeran's skin turned bright violet, signaling alarm. One Xeran ambassador hurried over, gently waving its hands in a circular motion, a calming gesture. Sarah tried to mimic it. Slowly, the humans' reactions softened, and so did the Xerans' colors. One of the human chefs whispered, "I feel like I'm learning a new language just by smelling fruit." Mark laughed quietly. "At least it's a delicious language." As the meal progressed, the Xerans shared a simple ritual game involving moving lights along a surface, signaling trust and attention. Humans were clumsy at first, misaligning the lights, causing the Xeran skins to flash orange with mild frustration. but Sarah encouraged her team to keep trying, explaining, "It's not about getting it perfect, it's about trying." By mid-afternoon, a breakthrough occurred. A Xeran child, curious and playful, approached Mark and gestured with a pattern of lights. Mark hesitated, then copied the sequence exactly. The child's skin shimmered gold, a sign of happiness and approval. "Did I just make a friend?" Mark whispered, smiling. Sarah nodded. "You did. You didn't even need words." The humans began to realize a key truth. While language and gestures could cause misunderstandings, effort and curiosity mattered more than perfection. Every mistake was a lesson. Every attempt, a bridge. Later, the group moved to a demonstration room, where humans had prepared a short musical performance. Xerans observed carefully. Their skin shifting through waves of color, humans played simple, stringed instruments, their music resonating through the hall. The Xerans initially appeared puzzled. Their senses perceived vibrations differently than humans did, but as the music continued, the colors on their skins softened, flickering from curiosity green to gentle blue. When the performance ended, one Xeran ambassador tentatively raised its hands, a gesture Sarah interpreted as applause. The other Xerans followed. The humans cheered softly, relieved that their attempt to communicate through music had succeeded. Sarah whispered to Mark, "We're learning to speak their language without even words." Mark nodded. "And I think they're learning ours too." However, not all lessons were easy. A misinterpreted signal nearly caused chaos. A human technician, excited about a new device, waved it in the air. The Xeran's skins flashed bright red alarm. They backed away, and the translator emitted a warning. "Humans, weapon, threat." Sarah rushed forward. "It's not a weapon. It's a communication device," she explained, showing them how it worked. Slowly, the Xerans relaxed, their skins softening. Mark muttered, "We really need to keep our enthusiasm in check." By the end of the day, both humans and Xerans were exhausted but exhilarated. They had survived near disasters, solved puzzles of communication, and shared small victories. For the humans, it was clear that their strength lay not just in technology or courage, but in patience, adaptability, and the willingness to learn. As the Xeran delegation prepared to leave Earth for the journey back to Horizon Station, one of the ambassadors approached Sarah. Its skin shimmered a calm turquoise. "Humans, strange, clumsy, but persistent, worthy," it said through the translator. "We will continue." "Friendship," Sarah smiled. "And we will continue learning from you." Mark gave her a thumbs up. "Looks like we didn't completely embarrass ourselves today," Sarah chuckled. "Not completely. That's progress." As the Xeran ship lifted off, the humans watched from the observation deck. They had survived the misunderstandings, learned from mistakes, and forged the beginnings of trust. It was not perfect, but it was enough to know that humans could shine, even in the confusing world of alien culture. Sarah turned to Mark. "Tomorrow, we'll face new challenges, maybe bigger ones. But today was proof that humans can adapt, learn, and even impress beings who are far older and wiser than us." Mark nodded, eyes wide. "I never thought misunderstanding could be so exhausting and exciting at the same time." Sarah smiled. "Welcome to interstellar diplomacy, Lieutenant. It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about never giving up, even when every gesture could be a mistake." And as Horizon Station glimmered under the light of distant stars, Sarah felt a quiet pride. Humans were far from perfect, but in a universe filled with alien minds and alien customs, they had the courage, the curiosity, and the resilience to succeed. And that was a start worth celebrating. The calm of Horizon Station was shattered the next morning. Alarms blared, echoing through the corridors with a piercing urgency. Commander Sarah Hayes snapped awake in the quarters she shared with Mark Rivers. "What now?" Mark muttered, rubbing his eyes. He was already at the control console, scanning incoming alerts. "Not sure," Sarah said, gripping her tablet. The station's sensors painted a terrifying picture. A rogue asteroid, much larger than predicted, was on a collision course with the station. Its trajectory had changed overnight, putting everyone in danger. Within minutes, the news spread. Xeron delegates, who had just returned to the station after visiting Earth, gathered in the control room. Their skin flickered with rapid colors: purple for alarm, red for anger, gold for curiosity. The lead Xeron ambassador spoke through the translator. "Humans, danger, must, act, immediately." Sarah nodded firmly. "Agreed. We need to act fast. Everyone, prepare for emergency procedures. We're not leaving this station vulnerable." Mark looked worried. "Commander, even with our best tech, moving or destroying an asteroid this size is risky. Xeron's help could be vital." The Xerons didn't hesitate. Their advanced technology could manipulate gravitational fields and energy beams in ways humans could not. But coordinating two very different species in a high-stress emergency was easier said than done. The first challenge emerged almost immediately: communication. Instructions needed to be precise. Yet humans and Xerons expressed commands differently. A simple hand gesture from a Xeron to redirect an energy beam was misunderstood by a human engineer, who triggered the wrong system. The asteroid's path shifted slightly, causing panic. "Stop! Stop! That's the wrong lever!" Sarah shouted, rushing forward. The Xeron's skin flashed bright red. "Humans, slow, dangerous, must focus." Sarah realized the solution was what had worked before: patience, observation, and learning from each other in real time. She called the team together and arranged paired crews, each with one human and one Xeron. Their task: work as one unit, mimicking movements, gestures, and timing. At first, the humans were clumsy. One engineer, attempting to mirror a Xeron's delicate hand motions, knocked over a control panel. Sparks flew, and the translator emitted a warning signal. "Humans, reckless, caution." "Sorry," the engineer shouted, stepping back. Mark whispered to Sarah, "We're going to need more than patience this time." Sarah nodded. "We've survived misunderstandings before. We can survive this. Focus on cooperation, not perfection." Slowly, the pairings began to work. Humans provided improvisation, quick solutions. When the Xeron's precise calculations failed to account for the asteroid's erratic rotation, Xerons offered accuracy, energy manipulation, and strategies far beyond human understanding. Together, they formed an unpredictable but effective team. As the asteroid approached, small, unexpected complications arose. Microfragments broke off, striking the station's exterior. Humans acted fast, sealing breaches with emergency shields, while Xerons recalibrated gravitational beams to redirect the fragments. Every minor success built confidence. Every small mistake tested trust. Sarah watched from the observation deck, a tense knot in her stomach. She noticed how the Xerons studied the humans, observing not just actions, but emotions, timing, and risk-taking. Humans, in turn, adapted quickly, learning to predict the aliens' silent gestures. "Commander," Mark called, "we've got a larger fragment approaching the central hub. If it hits, we could lose the main reactor." Sarah's mind raced. "We can't wait for Xerons to finish their sequence. We need a human solution fast." Mark hesitated. "What if we make a mistake?" Sarah shook her head. "We're already halfway through. Trust your instincts." They quickly coordinated with a small team, using human ingenuity to redirect the fragment manually with a makeshift energy net. Sparks and alarms lit the corridor as the fragment slammed into the net. The system groaned under pressure, but the fragment shattered safely in space. A cheer erupted from the humans. The Xeron's skin flickered in waves of approval. Soft, green, and gold emotions, signaling recognition and respect. "We did it," Mark said breathlessly. Sarah nodded, but there was no time to celebrate. The asteroid itself was still on a collision course. The next phase required perfect synchronization. Humans and Xerans had to combine gravitational fields and energy beams to alter its trajectory. It was delicate work, requiring split-second timing. Sarah paired herself with a Xeran ambassador she had grown to respect. Their motions flowed together, Sarah adjusting levers and inputs while the Xeran mirrored energy pulses, the asteroid's course gradually shifting. Suddenly, a warning flashed. A microfragment ricocheted toward the human control deck. Sarah instinctively pushed a young technician out of the path. Sparks erupted on the deck, alarms blaring. The technician gasped, unharmed but shaken. "You all right?" Sarah asked. The technician nodded. "Thanks to you." "Yes." "But the asteroid," Sarah refocused. The asteroid's trajectory had been altered enough to avoid the station, but its proximity still posed danger to nearby satellites. She and her Xeran partner adjusted the final beams, stabilizing the asteroid's new path. Slowly, the threat passed. The station went silent for a moment. Humans and Xerans alike were exhausted. The asteroid drifted safely past, no longer a threat. Cheers and sighs of relief filled the control room. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Xeran's skin glowed soft blue and gold, a sign of deep respect. One ambassador stepped forward. Humans, brave, adaptable, persistent, worthy allies. Sarah felt her chest swell. "And you're remarkable teachers," she said softly. "We learned so much today from you. And from each other." Mark clapped her on the shoulder. "That was insane, but we survived." Sarah laughed. "We survived because we trusted each other, even when every signal could be misinterpreted. That's something humans do best." The young Xeran child who had helped before approached Sarah, holding a tiny glowing shard from the asteroid. Its skin flickered gold, an offering of friendship. Sarah took it carefully. "Thank you," she said. "I'll treasure this. And remember today." Mark looked at her. "Do you think they'll ever understand how humans think?" Sarah smiled. "Maybe not fully. But they respect what we do. Even if it's messy. Even if it's clumsy. That's enough." That evening, Horizon Station celebrated quietly. Humans and Xerans shared stories, laughter, and relief. For the first time, cultural misunderstandings seemed small compared to what they had achieved together. Sarah reflected on the day. Humans were far from perfect. They had made mistakes, caused alarms, and nearly triggered disasters. Yet, their curiosity, courage, and adaptability had saved lives and strengthened bonds. The Xerans, despite their advanced skills, had learned from humans, too, how improvisation, boldness, and empathy could complement precision and tradition. As stars shimmered beyond the station's windows, Sarah felt a quiet pride. Humanity had proven something essential. Even in the vast, unpredictable cosmos, humans could rise to extraordinary challenges, adapt to alien ways, and earn respect from the universe itself. Tomorrow would bring more lessons, more cultural puzzles, and perhaps even new threats. But tonight, humans and Xerans shared a rare moment of unity, born from fear, effort, and trust. Mark leaned against the observation deck rail. "You know, Commander, we might actually survive living with aliens after all," Sarah chuckled. "More than survive, Lieutenant. Today we shone. That's something the universe will never forget." And for the first time since the Xerans had arrived, humanity didn't just survive contact with alien culture. They thrived, proving that curiosity, courage, and ingenuity were traits that could outshine misunderstanding, danger, and fear even in the cold, infinite darkness of space. The morning after the asteroid incident, Horizon Station was unusually quiet. The humans and Xerans alike were still recovering from the high-stress operations of the previous day. Yet there was a different energy in the air, one of cautious optimism, tinged with excitement. Commander Sarah Hayes walked through the station's main corridor, observing humans and Xerans interacting in ways she had never seen before. Xerans moved through the hallways with calm grace, while humans, though still clumsy, had begun to mirror subtle alien gestures, creating a rhythm of shared understanding. "Commander, the Zirans are requesting a joint project meeting," Mark said as he joined her. "They want to work with us on something. Together." Sarah's eyes lit up. "That's a positive sign. Let's see what they have in mind." The meeting took place in the Innovation Chamber, a circular room with transparent walls offering a view of the planet below. Humans and Zirans sat across from each other, each species arranging their tools and devices in a familiar, yet very different, way. The lead Ziran ambassador spoke first, its skin a steady turquoise, indicating calm and openness. "Humans, capable, brave, adaptable. We propose collaborative project, combining human ingenuity with Ziran precision." Sarah nodded. "We're honored. What kind of project are you suggesting?" The Ziran explained. They had detected anomalous energy readings near a nearby star system. The readings could indicate a natural phenomenon or potentially a new resource that could benefit both species. Investigating it required both Ziran technological precision and human adaptability and creativity. Mark leaned toward Sarah. "Sounds risky." Sarah smiled. "Sounds perfect." As work began, cultural misunderstandings emerged. But now, they were minor, almost playful. Humans accidentally mixed up Ziran symbols on a navigation panel. Zirans reacted with flickers of violet and green frustration and amusement. Instead of tension, laughter followed. "You know," Mark whispered, "I never thought I'd see a Ziran laugh at a human mistake." Sarah chuckled. "We're improving, Mark." And so are they. The next step required both species to travel aboard shared exploration vessels. Humans had designed adaptable ships for varied environments, while Zirans had systems for high-precision energy manipulation. Together, they created vessels that were faster, more responsive, and capable of unusual maneuvers. As they approached the star system, small challenges tested their cooperation. A meteor field loomed ahead. Zirans tried to calculate precise trajectories, but humans noticed subtle shifts in debris patterns, predicting movements faster than the calculations could process. "Trust me, Ziran team," Sarah said. "I've got a hunch." The Zirans hesitated. Then, seeing her confidence, they mirrored the human maneuver. Together, they threaded the ships through the meteor field, with remarkable efficiency. Once they reached the source of the energy readings, both teams observed glowing crystalline formations floating in space, emitting gentle pulses of energy. The phenomenon was unlike anything humans or Zirans had encountered. Humans, Zirans, must study carefully. Respect, one ambassador instructed. "Untana." "Zirans," Sarah nodded. "Agreed. We'll proceed cautiously, and we'll share all observations." As they worked, humans adapted Ziran precision instruments to map the crystals, while Zirans learned from human improvisations to adjust for unpredictable pulses. The synergy was remarkable. What one species could not solve alone, they solved together. During a quiet moment, Sarah observed one of the Ziran children placing a tiny crystal fragment into a containment field. The child's skin shimmered gold, showing curiosity and joy. A young human engineer approached, offering a small human-made tool to examine it. The child hesitated, then accepted. Their cooperation was silent but powerful, symbolizing the bridging of two cultures through shared curiosity. After hours of observation, the teams discovered that the crystals had potential as a new, stable energy source, far more efficient than current human or Ziran technology. The discovery sparked excitement on both sides. Humans celebrated with small cheers, while Zirans flickered bright turquoise and gold expressions of approval and recognition. Sarah smiled. This is the reward of working together. Curiosity, courage, and cooperation can unlock things neither species could do alone. Mark leaned over, whispering, "And to think, yesterday we were nearly crushed by an asteroid." Sarah laughed softly. "Every experience teaches us. Every challenge makes the next victory sweeter." Back on Horizon Station, the humans and Zirans decided to share customs. creating small rituals to honor each other's culture. Humans attempted Ziran greetings, bowing slightly and adjusting hand movements with care. Zirans tried simple human gestures, smiling, handshakes, even small jokes. Both sides laughed at awkward attempts. But in doing so, they found genuine connection. Sarah noticed that misunderstandings no longer caused fear or tension. Instead, they prompted curiosity, conversation, and humor. Every mistake became an opportunity to learn and grow together. One evening, the leaders gathered for a symbolic ceremony. Humans had prepared a small earth flag, and Zirans had created a glowing crystal emblem. Together, they placed both on a central pedestal. "This symbolizes our shared journey," Sarah said. "Respect, curiosity, and courage. Understanding, even when imperfect." A Ziran ambassador's skin shimmered gold and turquoise. Humans. Strange. Bold. Worthy. Friendship. Confirmed. Mark nudged Sarah. "We actually pulled it off, Commander." "They respect us," Sarah nodded. "And we respect them. That's the important part." As the day ended, Horizon Station glimmered under the light of nearby stars. Humans and Zirans alike gazed out at the vastness of space, realizing that their alliance was not just strategic but personal. They had faced danger, navigated misunderstandings, and discovered new wonders together. Sarah reflected on the journey. Humans were far from perfect, clumsy, impulsive, and often chaotic. Yet, their adaptability, curiosity, and courage had proven invaluable. Even the Zirans, precise and disciplined, had learned from humans' boldness and creativity. Together, they had formed something stronger than either species could achieve alone. Mark looked at the observation deck. "You know, Commander, I think this is just the beginning." Sarah smiled. "Yes, Lieutenant. We've taken the first steps into a larger universe. Misunderstandings will happen, challenges will come, but humanity has shown it can rise to any occasion." The Zirans, observing humans with their ever-shifting skin colors, seemed to understand too. Their respect was earned, not given. And they had accepted humans as allies, not only in technology or exploration, but in spirit. That night, as the station lights dimmed, Sarah allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. Across the corridors, humans and Zirans exchanged stories, shared meals, and laughed over small mistakes. Horizon Station was no longer just a hub of trade and diplomacy. It was a symbol of cooperation, friendship, and the remarkable potential of humanity. And so, as stars twinkled beyond the station's windows, Sarah Hayes knew one thing with certainty. Humans were not just survivors in the vastness of space. They were shining examples of courage, ingenuity, and heart. Even in the face of alien cultures, massive threats, and endless unknowns, humanity could adapt, learn, and inspire respect across the galaxy. Tomorrow, new adventures awaited. New misunderstandings, new challenges, and new discoveries. But tonight, humans and Zirans rested as equals, partners, and friends. Together, they had proven a timeless truth. When curiosity, courage, and cooperation meet, there is no limit to what can be achieved, even among the stars.